On this episode of Love Travel, Live Travel, we are spending our lottery winnings. We're naming a moose. And we're celebrating producer Paul's last day of being single. All that and so much more on Love Travel, Live Travel, starting right now. Hello there, and my name is not Susan, it's Joshua Harrell. I am one of your hosts today, joined by Jason Block.
Am I? Susan, where'd that come from?
It's a Whitney Houston song.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, so she,
Hey,
her magnificent other called her Susan, and she needed to let him know.
Bobby Brown we're talking about?
No, it's a song. My name is not Susan. So what? She's just basically saying, get it right, and you're cheating on me.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of
Who
what
knew?
to expect on this episode of Love Travel, Live Travel, because it's all about education, right? We welcome you if you are new to the show, and if you are returning, thank you so much, returning audience member. Oh, there's our studio audience just is a little bit lagging today.
I know.
I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, this Love Travel, Live Travel is a show all about, you love travel so much that you choose to live and travel and make it your business, your livelihood. So we get to talk about fun things, your travel business, travel destinations, travel suppliers, and I don't know, just have a good time, right?
Absolutely.
And there we go. I was like, I'm camera one is on me. Like
Right,
it was like,
Give the people what they want.
I was like, wow. Oh my goodness. So in the chat, if you are joining us live, the answer to the question that we've dropped in there: what is your first purchase if you win the lottery, the Mega Millions, which is right now at $80 million? $1 million.
Okay.
Isn't that exciting? What would
that'd be good.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. What would be your first purchase?
Ooh, my first purchase?
Yeah.
A bigger wallet?
Because you want to carry around.
Carry cash. 'Cause that would be wise. That would be wise.
I have $1 million in tip for you. If my dinner tonight goes well, you will get a portion of this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go with a fun answer. Let's say a boat.
Oh, you do a boat?
A boat. Yeah.
Like a big boat or like a little
Well,
boat? Like one that you'd like go through the
That's a
Med
good
in,
question.
or the islands, the Bahamas?
I think chartering a yacht would be fun.
Okay.
I don't think I'd want to own one.
Okay.
My wife gets seasick, number one, so that
So
I'd be like
Jillian
going
can't go.
solo. And that that's not going to happen. So a yacht would be kind of a waste. So like a nice fishing boat, I think would be fun, like deep sea fishing.
Deep sea fishing.
Yeah. Or
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know
maybe
what
just
you're
a
talking
house
about.
on the beach. That'd be cool too.
So, I don't know what happened after we started the show.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my YouTube went to Will and Grace. I don't know.
The algo.
Is that-
the algo is.
Yeah,
saying-
it's doing something.
Do you watch Will and Grace?
No, I don't. So that was kind of a weird. I have been watching Maude though. Yeah,
That's a blast from the past.
It is. It is.
I bet you producer Paul doesn't even know what mod is.
No, it's not a color, Paul. It's not a color.
And why would he be watching a color? I just go onto YouTube and I enter chartreuse.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah, I'm producer Paul. And you did hear me right. Producer Paul this is his last day of singleton. Singleton.
Are we happy about this, Paul?
I'm pumped.
Publicly, yes, he's pumped.
He's pumped.
Yeah.
Publicly. No, we're very excited for you.
Yes. So producer Paul and Josephina are getting married tomorrow.
Nice.
We've been talking about it for a while, and now it has finally happened. Cut it out. He is like loving all this attention. All right. Well, since you did not ask me what my first purchase
Right, what
would
would your
be,
first purchase be?
My first purchase would be a gigantic house
Okay.
that was all one level,
Okay.
but more like a compound. Like I want like kind of like a
Do you want walls? Like walls around it?
yes. And I want select family and friends to be able to live with me. Like
In the same now, is that in the same building or
Yeah,
would
in
they have
the-
like outbuildings?
no,
for
in the same
these?
building, and then
Okay.
we'd have a shared courtyard.
A shared
but-
courtyard.
Yeah, like in the middle of our like it's a giant square.
Okay. So like
Or
Versailles
depending-
but one story. Like
I haven't been to
a
Versailles, so
ranch.
yeah, I want a Versailles ranch. But yeah, that's what I would do is buy a place, and maybe I pick and choose who gets to live there. Like, I'll evict you if you irritate me.
So very much like Versailles. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be mine.
You're a modern day Sun King, Joshua.
That's exactly right. But I just always thought that was cool. Like, I watched a sci-fi show where they had like a prison or something.
Yeah.
And then in the middle was this gorgeous courtyard, and I'm like, but it was sci-fi, so I guess prisoners have gorgeous courtyards and sci-fi land, whatever. Anyway, I just thought, wouldn't that be cool to just be
Totally.
able to
I'm
look
with
in,
you.
but then have kind of like minimal outside views, so it could be anywhere.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
That's awesome.
Moving on. All right, let's see. Over in the chat, let's see if anybody answers the question. Attitudes and Latitudes Travel said, pay off my house.
Always.
It's good,
That would be-
but it's not a purchase.
That's not a fun answer though. Come
Yeah, it's not a purchase. It's more
It's
of
a
like,
smart answer,
what
but-
are you going to do with the money? But what would you go out and buy?
on. Okay. That's a smart answer.
Yeah, this is smart. Amanda is joining us. She's from Charlotte, North Carolina, but she's coming to us from Anchorage, Alaska.
Ooh.
I would buy a dog food company to feed my 200-pound Great Dane. I know what you mean. I have 4 beasts at home, and the dog food is very smart,
Dog
Amanda.
food's expensive these days, isn't it?
Yep. Jeff said, "Happy Friday! A cabin in the mountains or a villa in Italy?" I feel like that's I don't know. That's
Multiple
just buy them
personalities
both.
there, Jeff.
Just buy them both.
Just buy them both.
Yeah, just buy them both.
Gotta go
That-
to a villa
that's-
in Italy.
That's
Come on.
that's the one that like if you had that much money, just go ahead. You don't need to make choices like that.
A villa in Italy would be pretty cool.
So Chris said he would buy a DeLorean.
Do you know my dad used to have a DeLorean when I was a kid?
Did he
And
really?
this was back before you like had to wear seatbelts as kids. And in the back of the DeLorean, it's a 2-seater, right?
Yeah.
There's like a shelf, like the what do they call that in the back of a car?
Where the flux capacitor goes.
Like what are they? Like with the back or the rear windshield kind of.
I honestly don't. I can't think of the name of it. It's
You know what
not-
I'm talking about, right?
No, I know what
Like,
you're talking
there's-
about. The back
The back-
behind the seats.
I think, anyway,
It doesn't
so
have a name.
if
Yeah.
he was taking my sister and I somewhere, he'd put her up in the front seat with
And you had to
and,
take the
and I would
shelf.
lay on the shelf. And I was, even at like 6, I'm like, dude, if he slams on the brakes, I'm going straight through that windshield. Yeah, but he had a DeLorean. The thing was a piece of junk.
I need pictures of that. I need.
I don't know if I have any.
I
but
need.
I'll see if
pictures
we
of that.
can dig one up.
But you and I were kids in the same time
Yes.
when it was sufficient just to put your arm out. The parent was gonna
sure.
like put your arm out. Oops, we're slowing down.
Yep.
Like, put your arm out.
Funny how they thought that would work. Right?
Yeah. Why have a seatbelt? Like, who cares about that?
I feel like some cars didn't even have seatbelts. Like it was like an option. You could choose the deal.
Do I want to be safe?
Yeah.
No. Let's see. Laura said, "Cheers to the weekend. I would buy Taylor Swift tickets because I can't afford it otherwise."
those prices on those things are crazy.
Have you ever been to a Taylor Swift
I have
concert?
not.
I have not either.
My wife took a couple of our girls several years ago,
Yeah.
but not to this tour because she's right. The prices on this tour are nuts. Nuts.
I mean, I do like music, but if it sounds good on my iPhone, I'm good. I don't need to go see it. Let's see here. Amanda said that she loves the show Maude. Thank you, B. Arthur. Back in 1975, I think it got started. And she said that Maude started Archie Bunker, but I thought it was the other way around. I thought she was, because she's a cousin of Archie Bunker.
I was never into either of those shows.
And then Florida Evans from Good Times was the housekeeper.
Well, really?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Did not
Norman
know that.
Lear really merged it all together. I'm just telling you. And Donny Hathaway sung the theme song to Maude. You know, when I go into a rabbit hole, I go into a rabbit hole. I've been
sure do.
researching it, yeah.
Researching it.
Amanda said, "Congrats, Paul, on your nuptials." Yeah. Hannah said, "Happy Friday. I would hire a housekeeper." And congratulations, Paul. You're getting some of that.
Solid.
Yeah, so quality travel. Rebecca said, "Happy Friday, everyone. Laura, I just got back from a Taylor themed cruise. You should go with us next year. It was a blast." And Paul, congrats.
Nice.
Yeah, Rebecca made news by
That's
putting
right.
together her
We talked about
her
that.
group. Yeah.
A while back. That's awesome.
And she said that if she won the millions, she would purchase land with chickens and cattle and a pond for fishing.
Okay. All right.
I
I don't share your path, but if that is what your heart is speaking, I think you should listen to it.
Yeah, girl.
I'm surprised by that answer, but I'm also not surprised for Rebecca. So I'm
I'm a little surprised.
I see. I
The
think
whole chickens thing, that's where I diverge.
yeah.
Chickens are dirty and loud.
Well, apparently peacocks are louder. So apparently,
But
if you own
peacocks have a
peacocks,
pretty cool factor going for them.
yeah,
Like
they're peacocking
in
around.
your compound, you could invite people out to the courtyard and be like, "And here are my peacocks."
Yes, I only think you do a peacock.
Oh, you can't have multiple?
I think they would fight, like boy peacocks are. I don't know. I don't know anything about peacocks except for they're loud. But anyway, all right, moving right along. So we were wanting to talk a little bit about service fees.
Yeah.
And agencies charging service fees. And curious if you're watching us live, jump in and share any of your experience with charging service fees. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, we talk a lot about service fees and that it should be part of your business as a travel advisor, travel agency owner. And we don't really often talk about, we talk about how much the service fee should be, but we don't really talk about when you look at your business and you look at your service fee income, is there a benchmark for what percentage of your income should be driven from service fees? Do you have a target for the total amount of service fees? And I was at a industry conference last week with Joshua, and I was part of a table panel discussion, and we were talking about service fees and hearing from the folks around the table. It was pretty interesting because these were all folks who own different size agencies in different models. One was pretty high-end luxury. One was kind of in that premium entry-level luxury space. One was contemporary mass market products in all different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. And the only one that didn't charge service fees lived in a very small town and competed locally. And frankly, she was just afraid to charge them, thinking that, my competitor, the other woman in town,
Right.
doesn't charge them, so I can't which I think is wrong, but everyone else did. But what was that didn't surprise me. What surprised me was the percentage of their business that they said service fees make up.
Okay. What was it?
And, well, the high, and this is, a table of 10 or 12 of us, the high amongst the group was 30%.
Okay.
30% of their revenue comes from service fees. But I think the thing that surprised me was the majority were in the 15 to 25% range. And again, we talk about service fees a lot, but we haven't really spent a lot of time talking about it from that perspective of if you're building out your targets for the year in a pro forma, P&L, how much do you have a target for service fees? And do you have a strategy for achieving that target? Mm-hmm. Right? And does that kind of flow down? Do you start at the end? Like, I want to generate, let's say I want to generate $100,000 in revenue for the year, and I want 20% to come from service fees, so that's $20,000, right? Mm-hmm. Easy math. Well, I think I'm going to do this many trips, so that means my service fee has to be X. So that's an interesting exercise that I think everybody should go through and kind of compare that answer to where you are currently.
Right.
And if you're way off, start to work up towards that.
Because service fees would be something that you could control. The package that someone might buy or the trip that could fluctuate. But in terms of kind of projecting what you're going to do, that's a very controllable number that you can manage.
And one other point on air transactions. Those folks at the table who charged air transactions, and we see across our network that more and more people are charging service fees on top of air, right? Mm-hmm. And our tool allows you to do that very easily. But the amount that was being charged, $50 minimum for an air domestic air transaction, $100 for international, and a couple of the folks who worked in the higher end space were charging $250 a person for an air ticket as a service fee, and getting it.
Yeah.
So that number surprised me a little bit. That's kind of up there.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you, don't sell out of your own pocket. Even if you would never in a million years pay someone a $250 fee to book your air tickets per ticket, doesn't mean your clients won't, and doesn't mean that the value you're delivering, so they don't have to worry about that aspect of it, isn't worth it to them.
Right. I was just looking for some information kind of around service fees, and one survey from 2023 came back and said nearly half of the hosted advisors charge service fees. So still a lot of people a little shy.
A lot of people don't,
about it. But one of the things that I kept seeing over and over again from people who were commenting on the fact that they do charge fees is that it helps them find it. They get the right clients for them, people who understand the value of them.
Yeah.
And that's a frustration that a lot of advisors have is my client doesn't value my time or my expertise. I landed the business, but at what cost if there's a lack of respect there?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting opportunity to charge fees, but also, like what you were saying, to plan for it. That just any kind of way that you can slice and dice the way you're focusing your attention can just help you tick off things that you've achieved. Yeah.
And you hear it a lot from folks who are newer in the industry, right? We hear it all the time. Oh, I need to get some more experience. I need to build up my expertise before I'll be comfortable charging a fee.
Right.
And you think about that, it makes sense on the surface.
Yeah.
Like in a vacuum. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And sure, as you gain experience and expertise, your comfort level charging fees goes up. But imagine imagine if you took a job at a restaurant and you were going to be a server, and you said, "Well, I'm not going to take tips until I've gotten a little more experience." Like, of course, that's ridiculous, right? So if you're providing a service, forget how good or experienced you are yet. But if you're providing a service, you need to be compensated for your time, or else you're going to get to a point, pretty much faster, where you're not being satisfied by the financial return, right? So don't shortchange yourself just because you're not comfortable with it necessarily.
Right. And it's very hard to go from not charging fees to charging fees if that's your mindset.
And how often have you heard, "Oh, I charge fees, but only to new clients. My existing clients, I don't charge them a fee." You know why? Because they didn't charge them a fee the first time.
Right.
And then they feel like they can't.
Right.
So
I would at least start with a fee, even if you might come in a little bit lower than where you would eventually want to be. And then you can raise that over time. And we've heard people who have said that they've got too much business, that's how they start to
weed it.
weed it out and narrow it down.
And here's another thing you can do, not to stick on this topic for too long, but if you're, let's say you want to get to eventually a $250 planning fee, or whatever the number, and I heard some recently charging way more than that. Put that on your proposal, and if you don't think you can get it, list it at $250, line through it, and say, I've discounted my fee to $100.
Yeah.
You're setting the value point, right? You're making them feel like they're getting a great deal, right? And you can come up with whatever reason for the discount you want. Maybe it's, since you were referred to me by Sally, and Sally's, a good friend of mine, I'm going to give you a discount.
Right. And then when they recommend you,
Right.
then they say, hey, they normally charge $250 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Or the next time they come back and you do charge them the $250, they're not surprised.
No, that's a good point.
Yep.
Good idea. So love to know your views on fees. But I love that our Erica chimed into the chat, and she said, never compete with the other woman.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Erica, for that.
A smart lady.
Yes, a very smart lady. I love it. And I love that Amanda has corrected me in the chat that Maud is Edith's cousin, so not Archie's. So Amanda, I've still got so much more to learn in my Maud.
You need to continue your research.
Rabbit hole, that I'm going down. So lots going on in the news this week. Where do you want to start?
Oh gosh.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we have any other time?
Well, I was going to say, Joshua, real quick before we go, Erica did have a good comment that I was going to flash across, because I feel like we should acknowledge that she said nice t-shirt, but I feel like we should acknowledge your shirt.
Oh, thank you, producer Evan. So, can you get off the screen? Okay. So, if you are a member of our network and you have filled out your profile correctly on World Via Pro, thank you, producer Paul. Here is the reveal of the Love Travel Live Travel shirt. Da da da.
Love it.
So
Those are nice.
if you guys got your sizing into your profile on World Via Pro, these are going to be shipping very, very soon. So, yay! It's in time for 4th of July.
It's
I really like.
July.
I was having a mint julep in the 4th of July. What the heck? That's awful. Sorry. So, what's on the screen right now is
Joshua is starring in an upcoming episode
of Bridgerton. That's me in Bridgerton. But
this is your great grandfather.
Exactly.
Right? It's uncanny. The resemblance.
Yeah. He's from Oxbridge. I don't know which one he graduated from.
Wow.
But what about your ancestors?
Oh, did you dig one up with my? Oh my!
Yes.
He looks like a grumpy grouse, doesn't he?
Josiah Block.
Wow. Where did you dig that up? Do they have those on Ancestry.com?
So, guys, we did an event a few weeks ago, our core summit in National Harbor and at the Gaylord, our core summit. And what's fun about it is we are teaching everything from building your sales plan to your marketing plan. When you leave, you definitely have your game plan, okay? So we have a lot of our professors as well as guest professors. And so what we did this year is we turned them all into these Victorian era professors. And it was such fun because nobody really knew about this except for a small handful of our team. And I was,
Which I was not one.
I was waiting for Jason to come in, and of course, the moment I had my back turned to the door, he walks in, and all I hear is, "What the heck?" So lots of fun. We should have them make a debut on social media at some point.
So I want y'all to picture this. So we're in this, it's a training breakout room.
Yeah.
At a hotel conference area. And I walk into this room, and, we have the tables of the classroom tables. We have the lectern up at the front, the projector screen, the normal accoutrements of a conference classroom. But all around the entire border of the room are these art easels with like 20 of these photos. It was like being in an art gallery or one of these, old mansion libraries where they have all the paintings hung up.
That's pretty special.
It was surprising to say the least, but very entertaining.
Yeah. I loved how all the guest professors, when they came in, like
They were equally stunned.
They were not trying. They were trying to not interrupt the class, and then they're like, "Is that me? Like, what is that?"
It went from a look of confusion to comedy.
Yeah.
Because what is all this? And then they see there's one of them, and they're like, oh.
Yeah. So
But yes, it was very surprising.
what brought this to mind? Why I asked producer Evan to put this up is the posters, the physical poster that was made is here.
Oh.
And they're like 3 feet tall. So I'm just going to ask you publicly for the budget to get them framed so we can, in giant gold frames. So when someone comes into our office, they'll be like...
We're going to have to talk about that one.
Established in 1832, Worldview. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's. Where do you want to start? We got a few things.
Mixed bag.
I'm really excited about Boom, Supersonic, which. There we go, JJ Fad, and we're here to rock. So if you don't know, back in the 80s, JJ Fad had a song called Supersonic. Anyway, the news story is that Boom, Supersonic.
JJ Fat, and we're here to rock. Lines like us can never be stopped, even try it. Supersonic.
Supersonic. I'm sorry. All right.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's all I can think about now, because JJ Fad was my first rap. Well, I actually take that back. I said that before it was my first rap album.
Yeah.
But my dad had bought me the Sugar Hill Gang.
Oh,
when
classic.
I was that was so JJ Fad was more the one that I went to the record store and bought the cassette. So these are my idols.
What was your first CD? Do you remember? I remember mine only because it's hilarious today, I think.
I don't know that I can remember. What was yours?
Milli Vanilli.
Girl, I'm gonna miss you. It's a tragedy for me to see the dream is over.
Yep.
Oh.
Good stuff.
I did have that one, but I did the Columbia House thing where you
Oh,
like
that was
yeah
that was the greatest.
yeah you just like selected and then all of a sudden you
I
get
still can't figure out like was it a good deal or not, but I feel like I got a lot of CDs from that.
yeah. I mean, it opened the world. It was like Netflix.
Right. So all right, what's going on with Supersonic?
Supersonic.
Boom. Supersonic.
Boom, Supersonic.
Yeah.
Yes. So the company who's building the fastest airliner held a ribbon cutting ceremony for their Overture Super Factory. Because it's supersonic. Them big everlasting ears. They can hear what I say faster than I can say it. So
they're trying. So this company's trying to bring back supersonic air travel, right? Like that's their mission, and they've been okay. They have been on a quest to bring supersonic planes back, and they've been going through different companies to provide engines. So it's kind of exciting to see that they're actually opening a production facility to build these planes. And one of the things that they're working on is trying to get around the sonic boom, so that you can fly them over land.
right. Because that
Which
was
if
the
they-
big problem with the
Correct.
the Concorde.
Correct.
Is the sound.
Yes.
So the factory, the Overture Super Factory, is outside Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro.
Okay.
It's the first supersonic airline factory in the U.S. And so the airliner is called Overture, not Boom Supersonic. So it's just made by Boom Supersonic. It's Overture is the name of the airliner.
This is the name of the plane,
Yeah,
like the
plane that they're building.
right, but the company's Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, do you think this is what it was like when they were coming up with the name of their company? Like, what should we call it? And then someone started singing,
Oh, I'm sure that there was someone like me there that would definitely.
"Boom, I got your girlfriend."
Yeah, that's where you
Like
went. That's where you went.
That's a different song, though, right?
Yeah, I think
See,
that's.
in my head, they were one song.
Is that Tigra and Bunny?
Ooh, I think
Boom,
so.
I got your boyfriend. I got your man.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't know. Help us out.
Tigra and Bunny. I can't remember. I want to know if anyone listening to this right now is like, oh, blast from the past, or if they're like producer Evan and producer Paul, and they're like, I really don't understand this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably a little both.
Yeah, a little bit of
We're
both.
dating ourselves.
But I did think it was interesting, and I don't know this. I can't compare this. I don't know a lot about airliner factories, but when they open it up, they're anticipating 33 aircraft per year and working their way up to 66.
Okay.
That's a pretty steady stream of production there.
Yeah.
So boom.
Look, if they could figure out supersonic flight over land, if they could figure out supersonic flight over land, that would be massive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine like New York to L.A. in I don't know what it was, like an hour and a half, 2 hours at most.
That would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Over the Atlantic in 2.5, 3.
God, that'd be great.
Like,
I don't
let's
even
go to
like-
dinner in Paris.
I don't like to.
That's almost like,
It's doable. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about like
yeah.
a lot of jet
I
lag.
wish they still had the Concorde.
Jason, what does FAA stuff look like for that as far as seatbelts and making sure that people are safe before they get on that? Like, what do we anticipate that looks like?
As far as seatbelts, I imagine they'll be required.
Well, I mean, like for testing, like they're gonna have to test these, like to make sure that before anyone gets on it, is it different because of the type of plane?
That's a good question. I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, I'm sure like basic FAA regulations will be exactly the same. That's a good question. I'm going to look into that.
Did you ever fly on the Concorde?
I mean, no. I
Okay.
wish. That would have been awesome.
I do know somebody that flew on it and said it was just like any other
Yeah,
plane.
my grandfather did.
Yeah.
Like in the last year that they were doing it.
Yeah.
He said it was basically, he was like, yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
blade. Kind of cool, but I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. For testing it, though, I'm sure they'll have some rules around like where they can test it and stuff like that.
I'm thinking about the person who's going to be the guinea pig, like the first person on a plane like that, and who's going to volunteer. Paul's raising his hand over there.
A highly paid test pilot would be my guess. Producer Paul's ready to sign up.
Not me. I need to make sure it has done its
Right.
rounds. Also, Disney Cruise Line
Yeah.
released 2 seasons of itineraries, spanning sailings from fall 25 to spring 26. Now you might be thinking, well, that doesn't sound that exciting, but apparently this is a big deal that they normally they do not release these seasons this soon.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, cruise demand very, very strong, right? And
Yeah.
if you're starting to fill out of of the capacity you've already posted, you better start. No better time to sell into future seasons.
exactly. 4 ships, Fantasy, Wish, Treasure, and Dream, are going to be sailing regularly to one or both of their islands, Castaway Key or Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Do you say K or Key? Because I feel like I've heard it both ways.
How
If
is
it's
that? How is that one
C-A-Y,
spelled?
C-A-Y, which would be
Then
K.
I'd say K.
You would say K.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that just like Target? Like, just being fancy with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was looking at cruise prices the other day.
Okay.
And it amazes me to see the pricing power that Disney continues to command for the same duration and destination set. Prices significantly higher than competitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just a testament to show the market demand they have for their product. It's amazing.
It truly is.
Yeah.
Just looking at
And adding
even-
to their private island experience is only going to
Yeah.
beef that up or help sustain it. So yeah.
So in Sicily, they had made some news a few years ago about selling abandoned homes in 2019 for €1.
Jeff, it was a Jeff. Use your Italian villain.
Yeah, there you go.
me the money.
You don't even need to be.
You don't even need to win the lotto.
Yeah. In 2021, they did them for €2, and now they're going to go back to it. It's a success. €3.
So it's a little spendy.
I know. I'm getting a little too greedy there. This is Sambuca di Sicilia, small town in Sicily. It's the old Saracen district. I'm hoping that's right. I was trying to get my research in there. Apparently, the houses are not desirable, but so you're going to spend a little bit to build that house, but not too shabby to
Yeah,
be in the Mediterranean.
you see articles on this, the past couple of years of people who have done this, and they've moved there and they're renovating these houses, and it's pretty cool. I mean, if you have the kind of job that allows you the flexibility to work remotely like that, and you're handy,
Yeah.
hopefully speak a little of the language, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder if I could have an olive farm.
I feel like in a different life, I would love to have done that. Like, would
Yeah.
you do that?
No.
No.
No. I need
20 minutes from the Mediterranean, these houses are too. We should add.
Nice.
Well, they're in the Mediterranean.
He means from like 20-minute drive to the ocean.
Okay. I mean, I'm not good at my geography, but I did know that Sicily was in the Mediterranean. But okay. All right.
What else we got?
Holland America.
Yeah.
So, in a partnership with Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, there's an orphan moose, and they're looking for names for this orphan moose.
Okay.
And now until June 23rd, which clock is ticking, you can go to Holland America's Facebook group and Instagram. They've got a designated post where you can submit your name.
To name the moose.
Name the moose.
Okay.
And this is a partnership with the AWCC, Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. But Holland America is the only cruise line that goes to this facility.
Okay.
And you're guaranteed moose encounters. The word encounter is.
I don't know if do I want a moose encounter?
I don't know. Like, do you pay less for an encounter or more? Like I don't
to
know.
see a moose, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it would be cool.
To encounter that implies like we're face to face, and I'm not sure I want to be face to face with a moose.
Yeah,
but have you seen a moose in real life? They are huge.
Yeah, I've seen them in a zoo, but yeah, that's
I
like a buffalo.
I saw one on the road when I lived in Minnesota. I was driving towards the Dakotas,
Yeah.
and like off the side of the road there was this moose.
You were like, is that a telephone pole
It
or
was
a moose?
huge. I couldn't believe how huge it was.
That's buffalo
Yes.
is unusually tall. When I saw one in real life, I was like,
Also very big.
I thought that was, I from the pictures
like
that
a
I had
hippo
seen,
or
I wasn't
rhino.
prepared for that.
Yeah.
Um,
So what's the?
What would you name the moose? I would call it Sally Struthers. It's very easy.
All I can think of is like the Bullwinkle character when I think of moose.
Bullwinkle?
Yeah, but
That
that's not a good name.
Yeah, I feel like that's styling it in.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute on this.
Yeah, that's fine.
How about
Did I just throw something? I think I threw what was next, but
Joshua, we got a comment in from Jeff on the last story. I'm going to flash it across.
okay, go ahead, producer Evan. Already checked into those, and you have to agree to spend a minimum of $30,000 in renovations.
Okay.
That's still not bad, Jeff.
That's a chunk of change, no doubt.
No, it is, but I'm
But
just saying.
If your total is now 30,003, it's not a bad deal. Now, I bet you most of them probably it's going to take a lot more than that to make them livable.
Yeah.
Certainly to your standards as a man of luxury, Joshua.
For my compound.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah, I did. All right, so we've got
30K minimum, huh? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got a new segment that we're going to do
Okay.
on the show, and producer Christopher said this had a name, a special name. That the kids do this all the time. Guess the location, but I can't remember what he said it was. But we're just calling ours. This is. Guess the destination.
We dug deep for that
All
second
right,
name.
yeah.
Dug deep.
We dug deep. And, all right, so producer Evan has
How's the game work?
found a location, and
Okay.
we're gonna just see a photo, and you and I have to guess. Now, just be fair, we were not a part of this selection process.
No.
So if he does like just an ocean, like that would really annoy me, and I would have discussions.
He's probably
with him later.
picked something really hard just to make us look stupid.
Yes, exactly. So,
So we
all
want
right.
you guys play along with us here.
Yeah, play
If
along.
you're listening on the podcast, you're just going to have to use your imagination.
Yeah,
so we'll describe it for you.
Yeah, we'll describe it, but we don't know what it looks like. Okay, and Evan, are you ready? Show it.
Okay.
Well,
so
it's
it's
a
a shot at
cathedral.
night in front of like a pond or a lake with a cathedral.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean that's not Notre Dame.
That is not Notre Dame, no. Is that the one in Barcelona, the Familia?
Oh my God, I bet it is.
I thought that one looked bigger and stranger, though.
He had me say that.
I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Oh, hold on,
I forget
let's
what
see.
they call it, like Mi Familia or...
We got. So Chris said it's geo-guessing BG.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Or geo-guessing, maybe. And La Sagrada in Barcelona. I think.
Those the guesses or those are the answers?
Well, Hannah said it's La Sagrada, which I think that was the church. And then Daniela said it's in Barcelona.
Okay, right.
Is that?
So go back to the photo. Let's go back to the photo. The second one, the one of the cityscape. So it definitely looks like Spain. I sometimes get Barcelona and Madrid mixed, but it's on the water, so it's not Madrid. I think that's water.
Yeah, those are boats.
Yeah. Okay. But there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, let's
So
go.
did we get it
Barcelona. Final answer.
That's correct.
Yay!
Teamwork makes the dream work, y'all.
Thank
We
you,
did it.
Hannah. Thank you, Daniela.
You did
So,
it.
so everybody, I do need to wear glasses, but Paul said that I kept reflecting the lights. So, so when I'm watching or reading the comments, it's a little bit of a struggle for me. So I had to get that out to make sure that wasn't Notre Dame.
Joshua, I'd like that you picked up on why I chose that church too, that cathedral.
Yeah, but why
did you?
why did I say, I had to say it for something?
We were looking at something, and I think I recognized what the church was, and you weren't sure what it was. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, we're gonna make
And
sure.
he was like La Sagrada de Familia, and I was like, ooh, that sounds a lot like a
Did
lot.
you know that that was the biggest cathedral in the world until very recently, and they built one bigger in Côte d'Ivoire, I believe. It was on Jeopardy the other night.
Well, and Arshawn tells us, you can see in that picture, there's cranes. They're building it up, and he said it was supposed to be done this year, and it's not going to be done now for a while. So, the more you know.
There you go. I like that segment. That was fun.
That was fun. And do we have our oh, we're missing our guest. Oh well. Moving
Where
right
we
along.
stood up.
I hope maybe we could message her and say, hey, are you joining us? Sorry about that.
Do we have any other news?
Well, you've always got a stack of
I
news.
got my stack of,
Yeah, some
stack
stuff
of
that
stories.
some unauthorized stories.
They weren't good enough to make the note cards.
Yeah,
Some of these are holdovers from last week that we didn't get to.
geo-guessing.
So we've talked about tourism restrictions and over-tourism and making sure we have sustainable tourism in a number of stories over the last several months, right?
Yeah.
So some locales have taken matters into their own hands, and they've put up obstacles to some high traffic areas, right?
Okay.
So American tourists are not ones to be daunted by such obstacles.
Don't.
So in Mount Fuji, the town of, maybe you can pronounce that,
Fujiwaka Chico?
Fujiwaka Chico. That sounds like a dance, or I don't know. So in Fujiwaka Chico, they put up big black fences with
Okay.
screens
Okay.
to block the view of Mount Fuji, where people would often gather to take pictures and all that, right?
Oh.
So what did the tourists do?
Poke holes in it.
They just cut little holes in the fence and shoved their cameras right through it.
Because at the end of the day, it's the picture that counts, right?
So I just,
Now, if they really wanted to keep people out, do like they do in Game of Thrones and put like all the spikes and everything like that. That if you get close, you're gonna be pierced through the heart. House of
that would
Dragons
be taking
started.
it to another level.
Yeah.
But
Let the games begin.
I'm certainly not condoning people doing that, but I just thought it was interesting because it is a real topic, and more cities are starting to, whether it's they're putting in taxes or taking other steps, limiting cruise traffic and doing other things, and some tourists are, saying, well.
But if
Too
you
bad.
are a tourist
Yeah.
and you went to Mount Fuji,
Yes.
and all of a sudden there was these black walls,
Yeah, I'd be pretty annoyed.
I'd be pretty annoyed. But I don't know that I carry a knife with me.
I
to
wouldn't
cut.
poke a hole through the fence. Let me be
Yeah.
clear on that.
But I'm
not
just saying.
condoning it.
But I would have to know that it was there to pack a knife. Like I don't just go around with a knife, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yep. Internet
Is important.
on cruises is. I like how.
I like how relaxed you are. Like
I'm
I mean,
relaxed
this
today.
is
It's summertime.
Yeah, just chillax.
Live, travel, love travel is my refuge, my moment of zen, where I'm allowed to wear a Hawaiian shirt without fear of my wife making fun of me.
Okay.
And she does not enjoy the Hawaiian shirts.
Really?
Oh no.
She
And
prefers,
I love my wife, but she is not a fan of the Hawaiian shirt.
She prefers your like safari like vintage shirts.
Well, she prefers anything but a Hawaiian shirt. She's like, a Hawaiian shirt should be worn at the beach and at the beach only.
I love it.
Which I can't really argue with.
I
but-
feel like though, like for anybody that listens or watches this show, the picture you paint of Jillian is really. I mean, I would like everyone to draw what they think she looks.
She is the sweetest, most lovely woman, and I am way more than blessed to call her my wife.
Yes,
That's the truth.
Yeah,
But we get along quite well.
yeah, they do. They
But-
do. All right.
But she doesn't like the Hawaiian shirts.
Well, I know someone who does like Hawaiian shirts
Good.
a lot, and she has been missing for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where's Velma? Where's Velma? That's what people have been saying. Well, here she is, folks. It's time for check. Hello, Velma.
Hello. I had a little link up problem with getting into the show. I'm not sure why, but
That's okay. The show said you haven't been here for a while, so it was saying I'm gonna.
You're here, and that's all that matters.
It is. It's good to see you, Velma. Now, we love Velma. Velma joins us, tries to join us on a weekly basis, but we are fortunate we get to see her all the time because she works with us. So, yay. She hasn't been missing in action. She just hasn't been able to join us on the Love
Been
Travel,
busy.
Love Travel show. She's been busy. She's been checking it all over the place. But Velma, you and I were talking a little bit ago about when you were working in an agency, and the time off was not allowed at certain times of the year. You want to explain a little bit?
yes, I've noticed that travel advisors now just go on vacation whenever they can find a good deal or when they want to go somewhere. But back in the day, we were not allowed to vacation from June through August.
Nope.
The
June through May.
summer. Just could not take off. That was it.
Did you missed Jason's joke? He said June through May you were not allowed to take off.
That would be funny.
So, but why was that?
Well, because we were very busy, and that was when we booked a pretty good percentage of our vacation travel. And we just didn't want to even miss out on even one sale. Plus, we had so many people booked to travel during that time that we needed to be at our desk working to take care of these customers. But now, you know, travel advisors have it much better. They can take their work with them. They just have to plan for this. It can be done, but it takes careful planning.
So what do you suggest? What are some tips from Velma on how to plan? Because it's all about the work-life balance, right? You got into this business because you love travel, and one way to surefire hate it is if you don't get to
Never
do
be
any
able
of
to.
it.
Right,
So it is all about the planning and planning to give yourself that opportunity to travel. So any tips for our audience?
The most important thing that I think you should consider are your payments. It's never good to miss a client's final payment on a trip. So if you see that a payment's going to be due while you're out of the office, you would, the week before, call your customer and say, I'm going to be out of the office next week and your payment will be due. And I was wondering if it would be okay if we go ahead and post your payment this week to make sure that everything goes very smoothly and that your trip will be fantastic. Now, if that's an issue and you don't want to do that, I can find someone, one of my colleagues, to post the payment for you. And most of the time, in fact, every time I ever said that to a customer, they would say, "No, no, 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 I want you to do it. We'll do it early." They were on board with that because they wanted me to take care of their payment and keep up with the money.
Yeah, I think if you've been handling all my my travel, I think I'm gonna go with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I bet it took when you first did that, I bet it took a little bit of negotiating with yourself around asking your client to pay sooner than they were expecting. I feel like as a client, I would automatically assume my client's thinking, what do they get out of it making me pay a week early? Did you experience that?
Well, I had some backup comments prepared if they came back with any kind of resistance. I tried to think of what the argument or the resistance might be, and so I could counter with why it's a good idea. And always I would fall back on the truth. And the truth is, if you take care of the payments, even if it's a little early and everything is done correctly, the trip is going to go great. If something happens with the money and the trip gets canceled or delayed and documents are delayed, then that could be an issue.
I love it. You know what? Most of the time, the truth is the answer.
That's right.
And while I have not been a travel advisor, I play one on TV. I have been at so many, when we do our tours and different events, industry events, maybe I run to the toilet or something, so I get out of the room and I see somebody who I know is in the session, and they're like, I'm on the phone, final payment. Like they're trying to juggle that, and I'm sure the client on the other end is like a little frazzled. Seems like, you're busy, you're occupied doing something. But I mean, I could definitely tell that the agent or the advisor was really frazzled. So, so that making that final payment is pretty important.
Yes, very.
Well, I love that you brought us a little food for thought. Make sure that you plan. If you love travel, make sure you can
live travel?
Yeah, that you can live travel. Sorry.
I like how you did that.
I was trying to get there and I got stumped for a minute when I was looking at you.
You just had to look at your
Jason's
shirt.
eyes were so
You just had to look at your
mesmerizing.
shirt.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I know where I am.
Yeah.
Love travel, live travel.
Love that. Yes.
Yep. Yours is on. It's in the mail. Really is. Getting it in the mail to you, Velma. Well, listen, it was great catching up with you. We will see you next time. Thank you, Velma.
Hey, thank you.
Gotta end your Friday with applause.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough applause in life, just as humans. Yeah, like, I feel like there's something to that personal soundtrack just walking around with you.
I feel like I get a lot of applause, so I or maybe that's just in my head. Maybe I just hear that.
That's a good tip, and if we can talk more about some other things maybe that you can do if you know you're going to be out for an extended period of time. We'll save that for another episode, but that's a good tip. Trying to get as many of those final payments out of the way as you can, because if you are going on a vacation, a personal trip, the last thing that you want to do is take that time and not be able to enjoy it as much as possible.
Right.
Things do come up. You do need to talk to clients some of the time, right?
Yeah,
Anybody
especially
who's
if you're not a
involved-
multi-agent agency.
Yeah,
like-
anybody who's involved in running a business understands that.
Yeah.
But to the extent you can manage it, makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm glad that we're talking about this topic, especially like in a week or so.
Yeah.
You're going to be taking some time off. So I know that
So,
we'll be able to signal you.
Caveat to that: if you do take time off, go to somewhere in the world where they don't even have cell phone coverage. That's really why we're going to the wilds of Tanzania, is because they don't have cell phone towers.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I did look. I looked at what it costs to rent a satellite phone.
yeah. Oh, like a spy
a
phone?
spy-
Like you'd be
exactly.
like
So I was having this whole conversation that like I totally want to rent one just because I think it'd be so cool to have a sat phone. But then I was like, if you do that and you're sitting in the middle of Africa, you need to be like that. You know, in like every movie or like action movie, there's like some CIA agent, but he's
Yeah.
a doofus and he wears like a Hawaiian shirt like this and he wears aviators and he's talking on the sat phone. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I do.
I want to be that guy.
You're halfway
I'm
there.
halfway
You're
there.
halfway there.
Maybe 80%.
Well, on that note, if you loved today's show, please subscribe, whether you're listening to it on a podcast or if you are watching us on YouTube. And if on YouTube, make sure you ring that bell or hit that bell so you can get notified. Sorry, wow, this is supersonic. The big everlasting ears. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Jason, thank you for making it a fun hour.
Thank you, sir.
And just, this is your oasis.
It is.
Yeah.
We
All
love
right.
you all. Have a fantastic day.
Yes.
Thanks
Speak
for
soon.
watching.
Bye.